So these are the motor mounts for the 258. I believe everything is original. I got new cushions here, but the brackets themselves are all original, I'm pretty sure. This is the driver's side. I tried to make sure that I marked them so I didn't get them confused. The setups are a little bit similar, and certainly the brackets up there are kind of similar. So just giving it kind of a wide shot here to give some perspective so you can keep everything straight. I got these on Amazon. I think they were like 11 bucks each. They're the same for the driver and the passenger side. And this is what I got. I mean, they seem to fit okay. EM2330, Westar. Again, there's a couple different brands. And there is one that's a little bit different. It doesn't have this little hook on the back there. All it is the bumper and the bracket. I'm assuming it fits also, but it's just a little bit different. It was like 30 bucks or 25 bucks each. I didn't feel like spending the extra money, so I went ahead and got these. But the 4 bolt holes here, I also got from Bolt Depot. I actually kind of like Bolt Depot. They have pretty good prices and very inexpensive shipping or free shipping when you get to a certain amount, and a wide variety of grade 8, 5, whatever bolts. They even have chrome socket screws, so if you want to put on your valve cover and make it look a little nicer. But anyway, these are the brackets. You kind of see the orientation. This is a grounding wire. I'm going to have to shave some of the powder coating off of the brackets here to make those connections. This wire was already on there. I'm not sure what gauge it is, but it's pretty hefty. Again, the orientation for the motor mount here. Again, this is just all 3 1/8-inch bolts. And that's how it come in. At least that's how the grounding wire was set on mine when I first got it. And I think that's similar, but you can see the stud comes through there. And the stud's coming from this cushion bumper piece here. But again, that's the orientation for the driver's side. And this is the orientation for the passenger side. Not sure why, but there was already a welded nut there. I don't know if that's original or the previous owner did it, but this is the whole setup here. Again, that's all powder coated, and I stripped everything down in a sandblasting cabinet. And this just came straight as it was. And like I said, the bolts are all 3/8. The ones that go into the frame, they were, at least the ones I took off, the old ones, they were pretty mangly and rusty. They are fine thread, so 24. You can kind of see the fine thread there. There are 8 altogether. 5 of them were 3 inches, and 3 of them were 2.5. And also there's that brace that goes underneath as well. There's a safety brace. I guess it's in case the motor falls down or just to provide some more stability. There's a brace that goes underneath and connects up inside. I think it's either this one or this one on this side, and the same over here for the passenger side. I believe it's this one over here. Anyway, that safety bar gets included and comes right up in here. And I believe that's why some of the bolts are a little bit longer. You know, it might even help if I showed that bar. So yes, so here's that safety bar. That's the driver's side there. So again, it's a funky orientation. But that's the driver's side. And that goes in on either side like this, so the bolt goes through through the frame, then through the mount, and then through the safety bar. I'm sure this thing has a name. I'm not sure what it is. So I've just kind of loose fit them in there with the 3 bolts. The 3 bolts are also 3/8 inch and 3/4 long. I have some lock washers on those as well. So this is part of the reason why I wanted to show this. Over here on the driver's side, all good. If you're underneath there and you want to change out the rear main seal or mess around with the oil pan or whatever else, you can easily take that motor mount off. Over here, not so much. I was changing out my rear main seal and I've been waiting to do this video for quite a while, and I had a heck of a time because there is no way to get those 2 bolts out. There's 2 bolts, 1, 2 here, and they're completely covered up by this slip. Maybe, just maybe with the other bumper that doesn't have this piece here that I was just talking about, you could possibly maybe get a socket in there or something else. I even tried taking a socket I had and shaving it off to make it a shallow one, and I still couldn't get up in there very well. I think I eventually did get it off, but it was very, very difficult. Not only that, but if you are able to get the pan off with the motor mount still on there, the oil pickup in here is very, very difficult to, you barely, you have to orient it around, you have to swing it around, you have to maybe tug on it a little bit to get the oil pan off. And then if you are replacing anything and then you go and use RTV in any of these spaces like you're supposed to when you seal up the oil pan again, then you'll be knocking likely the pan against those places. It'll be dabbing here and there as you're trying to force fit this around the oil pickup and also this mount. I know this because that's what happened to me. So I'm trying to save you guys a little bit of time and angst. So if you're, take a look underneath and you're going to be, again, doing anything with the oil pan, take a look at the motor mount. If it's situated like this and they're covered, do not try to get this off of there like this. What you're probably going to have to do, I mean, you don't need to go this far, but I actually have a piece of wood and I just took a big chip out of it and it fits right over that hump right there. So it's nice and flat. And I put a jack under here. I loosen up both motor mounts and I lift up the engine a little bit. In fact, if I were going to do this again, I would not loosen up that one. I would support the engine, jack it up just slightly. You're not going to hurt. There's 20 bolts here holding this in. You're not going to break that seal or do anything wrong. Just lift it up because it's already being held up by the transmission and also this motor mount here. Go ahead, remove this motor mount entirely. And what I saw somebody reference, I was looking for the best way to hold up the motor on this side. It probably doesn't even need holding, to be honest, but because you're taking the oil pan off, so you can't leave the jack there. You got to lift it up a little bit, take this off, support this side, and maybe not. I hadn't tried that part, and then pull this out, and then you can get easy access to the oil pan. Again, this isn't all to scale, and I'm just going to mock it up like this just for the sake of showing, but if you were to just take a scrap piece of 2x4 like this, I mean, if you have an engine hoist, great. Yeah, if you got an engine hoist, fantastic. Just lift it up on that side and you're good to go. I did not have one at the time. So if you have a scrap piece of 2x4, probably what I would do in the future if I don't have the engine hoist and have to get to the oil pan out, I would take that motor mount out and I would support this side, probably drill a hole in there and just put a threaded rod or something like that and take some other bolts that I had and connect it up to the side of the motor. You can pretty easily rig up something if the motor mount isn't there. Get a 2x4 coming down from that brace, bolt this one to that one or something. It wouldn't take that long again, and just fit this up there. I bet it would be fine with one bolt, so you could probably just fit it up against that top one, put a hole, put a long bolt in there, tighten it down, and it's going to hold up this side of the motor perfectly fine. That's what I would do if I had to do it again. And in case it helps, there are the 4 bolt holes that the motor mount goes to. So that it goes all the way through. And then over on the passenger side, that's where they are there. It shows 6 holes, or yeah, 6 holes there. I only had 4 bolts in mine. So it's 4 bolts on either side. At least that's what was on the original. So this is the passenger side, and this is pointing towards the front of the Jeep from the back. You kind of see the oil pan is right here, just for the orientation. Notice how the bracket is pointed downwards on the bar. I'm pretty sure this is actually right. And notice how it's connected to that bottom left hand, again, as you're facing the passenger side, taking a look up towards the front of the Jeep. So you're going to see there's the passenger side engine mount. That's on the front left one. And it goes around, and it goes right around and snugs up right close. You can see where it snugs up close to the oil pan right there. And that's a pretty consistent, and you see that's pretty consistent there. Let me see if I can get some better light. There we go. So that's a pretty consistent. So this bar, the support bar that goes across from engine mount to engine mount underneath the oil pan, it stays really close to, and it's even. It's about, what, maybe an inch away from the oil pan. Again, sorry, this is a crappy shot, but this support bar has a lot of bends in it. So then here is the other side. And again, this is a better shot of the driver's side motor mount. Again, you can see where the gas lines go around and the vent line goes around the motor mount. And that support bracket that goes around the oil pan right here, the support this support bar, and it goes in, the bracket is pointing that way. Kind of see the orientation there on the bottom back bolt, and that's why this bolt is actually a little bit longer. So you can kind of again see the orientation of that support bar, and that should put it, the bar again, which has a lot of bends in it, about an inch from the oil pan straight across. Hope that helps. And a couple parting shots if you are interested. Here's the top side, what that looks like on the driver's side with the motor mount there. And as you can see, I'm in the middle of my rebuild. I have a whole series on the teardown, and also am doing a series. I'll be posting that depending on what time when you're looking at this. I'll be posting on this rebuild, so go ahead and subscribe and take a look at some of those other videos if you're interested in some of the other parts of the rebuild.